California. Abortion rights are literally on the ballot this year, and you get your ballot in the mail automatically. So if you believe in protecting the fundamental right to abortion and the fundamental right to contraceptives and want to stop politicians from getting in the way, then vote yes on Prop 1. Sign and date your ballot and return it by November 8th to make your vote count. No stamp needed.
Hi, everyone. So excited to be here. This is our panel. We reached out to our experts to talk about Proposition 1. Abortion is literally on the ballot. And what we thought we'd do is bring in our expert panelists that are doing this work on the ground every day, and really just start talking about what Proposition 1 means and why it's so important for folks to be voting yes on Prop 1 right now. The election is happening right now. Folks have their ballots and they just need to turn them in. So I'm just going to jump right in and introduce our panelists. We have Onyema Obikia from Black Women for Wellness, policy analyst for Black Women for Wellness and for Wellness Action Project. Welcome. We also have Fabiola Carrion, Director of Reproductive and Sexual Health at the National Health Law Program. And we have Quita Tinsley Peterson, Interim Executive Director at Access Reproductive Justice. And we are so grateful to have, I know everybody's busy. We have 12 days left in this election, but we also know that this election and the work that you all are doing does not end on November 8th. In fact, it's just a stepping stone to the work that y'all will continue to do, and we're grateful to be doing alongside of you. So welcome. And I'm just gonna jump in if that works for you all. So as you all know, you just saw some of the digital ads, but there's ads and people saying abortion is on the ballot. So let's talk about what that means and what does that mean for your organization. So, if you can touch on the importance of elections and what it means for this ballot initiative. Fabiola, I'm going to kick it to you to start us off.
Thank you, Jody. Pleasure to be here. So in less than 2 weeks, Californians have the chance to send a message to the rest of the world, and that's without exaggeration, with Proposition 1. California voters can ensure that abortions are legal and accessible in our state, and that we can still take control over our healthcare decisions. We have an opportunity to do everything that we can to protect abortion access. Now, there are already laws in the state that protect this right, and certainly we can talk about this later. We've done a lot more this year, but sort of the codifying this in our state constitution really sets the gold standard, really speaks about the will of the people. And we have to do everything in our power to protect this essential right, which we have learned this year that can be taken away somewhat easily. I work for the National Health Law Program. We are a public interest law firm that protects and advances the healthcare rights of all individuals, in particular those who are underserved. And we believe that abortion is healthcare. And just like we protect other healthcare rights, like the rights of healthcare for children and people with disabilities, we unequivocally want to defend the right to abortion, because every pregnancy-capable individual should be able to have bodily autonomy and should be able to make an informed decision about their healthcare.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's so important. Does anyone else want to feel free to jump in, y'all, if you have more to add?
Yeah, I think from our perspective as an abortion fund, we have seen this moment with the overturning of Roe and how it has changed the political landscape. of abortion access across the country, but we also got a sneak peek back in September of last year when SB 8 was allowed to go into effect in Texas. And we started to see people traveling from Texas out of state as far as California for care. And we know that as states continue to overturn abortion access because there are no longer any federal protections around abortion access, it's clear that we in California need to protect abortion access in our state constitution to ensure that all Californians and everyone being forced to travel here are still able to access abortion care no matter what.
Yeah, and that message is sent to them, right? I think what we know at Planned Parenthood that there's just a culture of fear and confusion for people, and this is also our ability to really send that message loud and clear to folks that need to know where to go. That here in California, your rights are protected and will continue to be into the future. So I want to give an opportunity, Anya, may you jump on in.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and, echoing Fabiola and echoing Quita. And I'll say, particularly for Black Women for Wellness Action Project and Black Women for Wellness as reproductive justice organizations. Something that we speak about as one of our goals is just visioning and working to secure a just and equitable future for Black women, Black girls, Black birthing people. And essential to that is, access to the full spectrum of reproductive health care services, including abortion, because we recognize that it's integral to our abilities to just plan our lives and our futures. That's a critical component of it. And as we're, part of like what this visioning for the future requires is us being cognizant and understanding of from whence we came, right, in the past. And so, we've been talking a lot about the legacy that we'll leave our children, and that's particularly in our future generations. And that's particularly important because we're cognizant of the storied legacy that this country has had with regard to Black bodies and Black birthing bodies and the history of reproductive oppression that we have continued to fight against and we've continued to grapple with. And so from our perspective, this proposition is an opportunity to fight and secure a more just and equitable future for our generations to come, because we are bent on and intent on not going back to a place where reproductive oppression is even possible. And so we refuse to rest on our laurels. So it's wonderful and fabulous that we have laws on the books, but the unrelenting attacks, the attacks in local jurisdictions, even within California, I think, make us, should, give us cause to do the most that we can and implement the strongest protections possible such that like our futures and our future generations' futures is secure or, protected, right? Their ability to choose is protected, when it's their time, right, to make their decisions. That's the legacy I think we're, as an organization, we're thinking of passing down. A legacy that has more rights and that contemplates more human rights than even we have. And so that's also what this proposition means to us and why we continue to fight for it in this vote.
Absolutely. Do the most we can. Absolutely. So one of the things that I know we're all really proud of is all of the work that we've done with the California Future of Abortion Council. Grateful for every one of you and all of the hard work that we've done all year long. But can we talk about how that work and in conjunction with other long-term advocates, how we made and you all made the way for Proposition 1? And maybe Fabiola, if you could kick us off again.
Sure. In only 1 year, we have created and developed the California Future of Abortion Council, which Governor Newsom commissioned and asked us as advocates to put together a list of policy recommendations because we knew back then when SB 8 became in effect on September 1st, 2021, that this issue was not going to go away and that things were going to get harder. And of course, we heard the oral arguments in December 1st of last year. We saw the leaked opinion. And so there was a development of all of these events that led us to think we really need to act proactively and in anticipation to what became the reality, which is the reversal of Roe v. Wade. So in this year, we were able to gather more than 200 people representing 40 organizations, as well as independent researchers and providers and patients. And it was just like a beautiful collaborative process that put forward this list of recommendations and that we're so proud of resulted in 15 laws that were signed by the governor. And this is a package that is unprecedented, both in California as well as in the rest of the country. I've never seen a state put together so many laws in such a short time to protect abortion access, not only for the people who are in California, but those who come out of the state. Furthermore, we were able to secure more than $200 million to improve abortion access, make sure that our workforce development was secure and strengthened, that we had the adequate infrastructure, that no one was going to be turned away, whether they're from here or from other states, if they needed abortion and contraception. And even with all of that, we knew that it was not enough. We knew that we needed to act in the most ferocious way and make way for Proposition 1, which codifies the right to abortion and the right to accept and refuse contraception in the California Constitution. So when I say we're really doing everything that we can, we are really using all the legal tools at our disposal to protect abortion access.
I love the in the most ferocious way. I feel like that's all of us. I want to also, so for Planned Parenthood, we're a reproductive rights organization, and I think we talk a lot about reproductive rights and enshrining those rights in the Constitution. But I think for Black Women for Wellness, for access, reproductive justice, can you talk about what proposition means for your organization as a matter of reproductive justice? And whoever wants to start.
I'll take it on. Thank you. And I wanted to also, sorry, I know we moved on, but just another beautiful thing that I think the California Future of Abortion Council sort of made way for Prop 1 was we, as Fabiola mentioned, we convened just a brain trust of brilliant people who just thought about and looked at and examined all the gaps, that existed here in California, and from that thinking, came this work and came this proposition, and I'm still just enamored and in awe of that work, and so I just wanted to underscore that, even though I shouldn't have, because Fabiola just articulated it beautifully. But to answer your question, Jody, so as a reproductive justice organization, right, like the main tenets, three of the main tenets are, the right to have a child, the right to not have a child, and in the event that you do decide that you want to have a child, that you are able to raise your child in an environment that is sustainable, and that allows you the dignity to do so, right, with the supports necessary to sort of effectuate this decision that you've made, right? That requires, in order to do that, in order to even start thinking about access and start thinking about equity, we first need the rights, right? We first need to think about it. And rights alone won't save us, right? Because part of what we were able to sort of recognize and make clear and bring to the forefront in our conversations with the Fab Council is that, even when Roe was the law of the land, right, it was a right in name only, because everyone didn't have, even in California, didn't have equitable access to care, right? Like the near, folks would have to travel hours to access their nearest provider. And so, even when Roe was the law of the land, access was not available. But in order to even work on having equitable access to a health service, we need this right, right? We need this right to, you know, to realize, we need to be able to realize these rights, or we need a right to be able to realize. And so I think for that reason, it's a reproductive justice issue. The right to determine our reproductive destinies, right? Like the right to abortion, right, allows us an option to determine if we would like to have a child, when we would like to have a child, the spacing of our families, right? So all of that. And then as a reproductive justice, we think about these issues as intersecting. So we can't talk about access to abortion care without talking about, the maternal and infant mortality crisis, for instance, right? In California, we're 4 to 6 times, by we, I mean, the science says women, right? Like the stats. So just sticking to the research, right? Recognizing that not, people who don't identify as women still are capable of giving birth, and there is a crisis there as well. But the research says Black women, right, are 4 to 6 times more likely to die from pregnancy related causes than our counterparts here in California. So if you strip, and then, a study came out around the leaked decision that noted that once abortion is banned, it anticipated that maternal mortality for Black folks would increase by 33%. That's wild, right? We're in a crisis. So forcing us to carry pregnancies to term, not offering us the options of full spectrum of reproductive health care, jeopardizes our lives, right? Whether we want to carry a pregnancy to term or not, right? And so for us, having access to this right is critical so that we can live full, healthy lives, right? And determine our reproductive destinies. And I'll pull back on that. But, it's part of the holistic, story, right? It's part of a full lived experience. And so for that reason, access to abortion care is critical.
I thank you for naming that. I think that's so important. And I think also I'm wanting to lift up a fourth tenet of reproductive justice from Sister Song, the right to bodily autonomy. And while, yes, abortion is on the ballot with Prop 1, also there's a key second piece of Prop 1 that codifies the right to refuse or choose contraceptives. And when we talk about reproductive justice and reproductive oppression, we can't omit the long history of reproductive oppression and the stripping of the rights of Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color, and choosing the right to expand their families, and the ways in which people have had their right to continue to become pregnant stripped from them, whether without their consent or without their knowledge. And with Prop 1, it codifies the right to be able to choose whether you want to or not choose contraceptives. And that's a key piece that we also can't forget. All of us deserve the right to be able to choose whether or not we want to expand our families, whether that looks like exploring various contraceptive options, or it looks like choosing to have an abortion. And so that's also important.
Thanks so much. So grateful for all of you. I do want to, this initiative is really, we know that across the country, people did not want Roe v. Wade to be overturned, right? And this is also becoming the first opportunity that people can really voice and express that. And here in California, they can do that by enshrining that right into our Constitution. So I do want to highlight the importance of this initiative passing in a way that sends a message across the country that this is a winning strategy, that each states that didn't have a mechanism to do this as quickly as we did in California, that are maybe looking at doing it next year, the year after, that they absolutely should, that it's worth the investment, and that when people have an opportunity to express their opinion through the ballot box, that they certainly get out and do that. So I want to highlight resources that are available for voting in this election, where folks can find them. I know I've been doing this campaign. I'm gonna call on Anyama, because I know some of the great work that your organization is doing, and maybe you can talk a little bit about what you're all doing and where people can find more information.
Yes. So of course we actually just published a voter guide and proposition guide. So folks can check that out on, should I give the website? bwwla.com, bwwla.org, or bwwactionproject.org. You can find it in either of those two websites. So we have those particular resources to, explain the importance of elections, to explain, the propositions and give our positions on them, and just kind of in plain language, like what these all mean, what these mean for our lives, more broadly. And so y'all can check that out as just a quick resource. We have our civic engagement team, a phenomenal group of people who are on the field, like canvassing our communities. They've developed relationships with the community because they're canvassing year round to talk about the different policies that we've passed, do voter engagement work, all of that. And so they're going out in the community and talking to folks and getting folks out to vote. We have texters, phone bankers, all of that as well. And so we are happy to talk election, to talk politics, to talk about the implications of elections on our lives, right? And voting, the importance of voting down ballot, for different offices at various levels, because all of that really stands to have an impact on our lives. And so please reach out if you have any questions. I'm going to make another plug. We have a brunch if you're in Los Angeles, because we love a brunch and a signature drink coupled with learning about, the elections. So join us on this Sunday. We are talking about Prop 1, all things Prop 1 and the propositions on the ballot. So please reach out for additional information if you would like.
And I know all of our orgs and all of our partners are volunteering and doing everything they can. I want to point and direct people to a text bank. So the link is in the comments below, but after this, there will be a text bank. If you want to go on the Yes on Prop 1 website, it'll direct you to other times that there are different text banks and activities going on, as well as merchandise. We have our t-shirts but I think, voting is one thing, telling your friends and family to vote, using your platform, all of the things, because right now it's just a great reminder. I'm so proud of all the things we're doing in California. We're going to win big and send that message. But the truth is that without this federal protection, every election matters more than ever before. Every election means we're an election away from losing rights, and we have to do everything we can, right? And so it's just call on everyone to use their voice and use every tool that they have. I want to thank you all again for the time today, and always for your profound words and expertise and everything that you give me every day, but also everyone watching this. I do want to end on sort of a lighter question. So we have 12 days to go. We're almost done with today. So maybe it's 11 and some change days to go with this election that's really intense. And then we move into probably another election cycle that will continue to be this, right? This is our new world. So for each of you, and in no order, how are you finding joy right now?
I can start. I would say that I'm finding joy now that, things have calmed down in terms of COVID. I'm seeing friends and family a lot more and just seeing people. And it's just been such a delight to connect with people, while at the same time I tell them about Proposition 1. So I think I can combine both, a lot of joy and some of the, my vocation, my mission of protecting reproductive rights in our state and in the country. So yeah, just finding that community has been really amazing.
Yeah, I would say the same, similar, very similar for me now that I'm quadruple vaxxed. I'm like back out in the world and spending time with friends. This weekend, I'm going to a Beyonce themed Renaissance Halloween birthday party. So I'm like super excited, right? And also, yeah, spending time with my partner. And also, I'm a plant mama. So spending time with my plant babies always grounds me. And yeah, finding something like digging my hands in the earth. And honestly, I'm like, yes, the election is stressful. It's a lot of running around talking about Prop 1 and all the things, but coming from the South, it's so nice to be like celebrating this huge win with the California. Sorry, y'all, someone's at my front door. It's so exciting to be able to celebrate the major wins of the Future of Abortion Council, and also to look forward to hopefully overwhelmingly winning on Prop 1 and being able to celebrate all the work that we've been doing here in California to increase abortion access.
Thank you. And Quita, like just you talking about your experience from the South, like really just makes it real for me. Like as a Black woman, like recognizing that a significant percentage of our population is in the South and deeply impacted by these abortion restrictions, like you naming that like really just hits home for me and makes me realize how almost for granted I've been taking these wins. And so I don't know. So I appreciate you for just even saying that, and I'm grateful for you just reminding us what is going on in the world. And like we know it, but knowing you, I don't know. Sorry, okay, I'm gonna stop rambling about that. For me, the joy is dance breaks in the kitchen, like because I just don't have a standing desk yet. So I sometimes just stand at my kitchen counter and do work, and little 5-minute dance breaks in between emails or Zoom calls or something give me joy. Getting to see folks out and about now in public has been a special joy, because I guess we're a communal people, and just seeing good energy is great. And getting to do this work, honestly, is joyful, or brings a little bit of joy, as cliche as that might sound, but that's for me.
Yeah, I think our community is joy. I think California right now is joy. I'm finding that even in just trying to appreciate even weather here in California, that we're still getting some sun and it's nice, but we're also, turning on our fireplaces a little bit. So I appreciate you all again. Yes, on Prop 1 with every platform that you can use. Keep on for the text bank after this to everyone, and to each of you, as always, appreciate you and grateful for you. So thank you so much. Thank you for everyone for tuning in, and yes, on Prop 1.